speaking of all that rock and roll, talk about a segue here. All right, now Tom is up there in his deer blind, shooting Bambi's parents. Right now, he's gone and he's still booking guests. So I don't know who these two gentlemen are. I mean, you've been on the show before once, right? But that was like a long time ago, right? Probably a year ago, maybe, right. Más o menos, right? And so forgive me. We're live on the air. I'm gonna ask your names again. But what I do remember is these guys were cool, and I can bank on that with Tom. He'll always book cool guests. It's just Mike, you and I, we have to figure out like who are these people? Okay, I implore upon all of you, go to Facebook right now. Go to follow Pudge Nation, okay? And you'll see that we're doing Facebook Live right now. We're live right now on Facebook. I'm wearing my little yellow submarine T-shirt, so that way you'll know it's me. All right, so Pudge Nation, follow that, Facebook Live, go there now, and you'll want to. Because what these guys do is they work in the world, in the industry of rock and roll memorabilia. Now, me being the rockologist, the musicologist that I am, I love this stuff. And Tom told me, he goes, yeah, buckle up, Pudge. You're going to love the guest you're going to have on Wednesday. And so when he told me, I was like, oh boy, and so I can already tell right up front that you guys aren't letting me down. So let's first come to the microphones and let's introduce ourselves to the class. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Sergio Elizondo.
Sergio Elizondo. Okay. Good to meet you, Serge. How you doing, man?
Doing well. It's a good morning.
Man. All right. Now, and who's your sidekick here?
My name is Rafael Davila. I run the rock and roll flea market.
Oh, Rafael. Hang on. Did you bring Donatello with you?
No.
Rafael Elizondo. Do I get points for that?
No, Davila. Elizondo.
You're Elizondo. And you're Rafael Davila.
Yes, that's
okay. Right. Okay. Any relation to Daddy D? No?
No.
Yeah? Or Lito or any of those guys?
No, but I knew of Lito.
You knew Lito? Okay. All right. He's like my brother from another mother.
Rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. Yes. Absolutely. All right. Well, and you have a rock and roll. What did you call it?
It's called Rock and Roll Flea Market. We've been doing it for about 9 years over at House of Rock every second Saturday of the month.
Oh, so this isn't like just second Saturday?
Yeah, every second Saturday. But we have a special event going on because it's Black Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So Saturday, we're having an event that not also has the Rock and Roll Flea Market, but we're also doing an art exhibit of flyers that my buddy Sergio has done. And it consists of bands come
on up to the microphone.
It consists of bands from the early 80s all the way up to, how far are you going?
Like early 2000s.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's going to be a big wall inside House of Rock of all these old flyers and maybe bands that maybe some of your friends were in or bands that are still around actually. So you get to see like some of the venues that were some of these shows were held at,
What, here in Corpus?
Here in Corpus, yeah.
Oh, badass.
Yeah, so you'll see like the Indio,
the Ritz Theater and the like small clubs like Cooper's Alley and Cantina Santa Fe.
Oh, good old Cantina. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My DNA's still in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I heard stories.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's gonna be a great exhibit. Sergio is the one and mind you, how old are you, Sergio?
I'm 29 years old.
29?
Yeah, and 29. he has such an interest in the history of the music here in Corpus that this guy has a great collection. He's met a lot of people in just a few months, and it's going to be an awesome display. It's something that you could take anybody to, and you got to recognize at least one of those names. Somebody you went to high school with.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you guys are doing this on Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday.
On Saturday, what time, man?
It starts at 11. It goes till 4 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah,
and goes till 4.
Yeah,
okay.
And also we have some special guests. We have Jaime Zamora will be there. He's a renowned photographer, and this guy took all the great photos from the Coliseum and at the Ritz.
Oh, dude!
And he sells the prints.
Does he?
And they're really good pictures. They're really good. He has great ones of Randy Rhoads.
Nice.
Sammy on top of the Trans Am. Santana and Montrose playing together at the Coliseum.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he has AC/DC at the Ritz, Triumph. Yeah, some great photos.
Whoa. AC/DC at the Ritz?
Yeah. And you
can
see
the
the
roof
floor.
still standing, man?
No.
You can see the floor, you know, it's from that era. I guess when they maybe
Yeah.
first played there or 2 times at the
Right,
Ritz.
right. Yeah.
But it looks awesome, you know. They look
Wow, that is amazing. And so all of this is going to be over at the House of Rock.
great. Yeah, this Saturday.
And tell everybody where the House of Rock is.
That is on.
501 Star Street.
Yes, that's right. 501 Star Street.
Star Street. So right there at the corner of Star and Mesquite.
Yes.
Right? And so it's downtown Corpus Christi. And so it starts at what time?
11 to 4. I also have 2 more guests too. I have this gentleman by the name of Alex Dominguez, and he had a band called Annihilator. It was a metal band, and they actually had success. You know, they albums, tours.
Right.
And I have another guy by the name of Rodney Dunsmore. He had a band called Devastation, and that was another popular band in Corpus. But they also too had albums. They went on tour.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have them there. They're gonna have merch as well. But
Well, this sounds fun.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's a nice way as we enjoy our holiday Thanksgiving season weekend. So
Also a good time to pick up great gifts like memorabilia. Like, you know, I'll have tons of old mags, tour books, concert shirts, records.
Okay, now here's where you really piqued my interest. You'll notice that above my head, I've got the Frampton Comes Alive album. It's autographed by Peter Frampton. I got it. I had that. It's an original print. Okay, and I was working at a radio station in Austin at the time, Z102, and I interviewed Peter Frampton, and so I knew like a couple of days in advance I was going to interview Frampton. So I went and grabbed my Frampton Comes Alive. My dad was about to turn 50 years old, and so I went to him after we were done with the interview. I said, "Look, I don't mean to be that guy." I said, "But it's going to be my dad's 50th birthday. Would you mind autographing this album to my dad?" So that right there, he knew it. You guys being memorabilia guys, the fact that I wanted him to put a name on it, knew it wasn't something I was going to put, immediately up for sale. And so this was going to be a personal thing. And to my surprise, Frampton, cool cat as ever. He had no problems. Like, man, give me that. And with a brand new Sharpie. And so on the album that I have here in the studio, it says happy 50th birthday, Al. And it says Peter Frampton on there. And so I noticed that the first thing I'm seeing, you brought a circus. Now, once again, go to Facebook, follow Pudge Nation. You can see that we're on Facebook Live right now. But you brought a circus magazine.
77.
From 1977? Okay. And Peter Frampton's on the cover of it, which would have been Frampton Comes Alive. This is right after Frampton Comes Alive comes out in 76. Baby I Love Your Way and Show Me the Way. And so now, basically, he's about to release I'm In You, which he hated, but nonetheless, hello, Hollywood. And so, but he's also a heartthrob.
Yeah.
The idea that he played for Humble Pie is long gone.
Whenever anybody brings up Peter Frampton, I go, no, not Peter Frampton. You mean the killer guitar player in Humble Pie.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And so, but no, let's see who else is on the cover of this circus magazine from 1977. They got a story about Frampton. They got a story about the Dead. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Ian Gillan, UFO, Steve Martin. Man, Steve Martin at that moment is just about to explode. He's just now starting to appear on SNL and Two Wild and Crazy Guys, and he's about to become Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Robbie Benson. It's like, really? This is odd, man. Holy cow. No. So
That's yours, by the way.
What?
That's yours.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah, because I remember the last time I was here, you had that Frampton record up.
Oh my, that is, wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. No kidding. That's awesome. All right, Mike, we got to figure out where to put this in here, man. Okay, well, thank you. Wow,
You're welcome.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. That is very nice of you. All right, well, wow, okay. I have nothing for you.
Well, you turned us on to that Elvis song, and that was a real strong vocal performance.
Oh, it is.
Strong.
Yeah.
Very strong.
So I'm like a casual Elvis listener, but I had no clue about that. I knew the story, but I know about that song.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's that song, If I Can Dream. You can hear it coming from his soul when he's performing
a lot of conviction there. In his
Yeah,
music.
absolutely.
A lot of passion.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of the deep cuts of Elvis, especially. Have you ever been to Graceland?
Not yet.
Okay. Homework assignment. You must go to Memphis. You must go to Graceland, okay?
A field trip, Ref.
When you walk into the Jungle Room, you feel it. You feel the presence of Elvis because he recorded some albums. He was so reclusive there for a while that they actually would set up a recording studio in Graceland in the Jungle Room. And so there's a couple of albums he recorded there. Now you go to those albums, and those albums are like 1971, 72, maybe 74, right around there. There's not much music coming out of Elvis that we all associate with, but go listen to those albums, and they are badass. Because the musicianship, all knows he's got the best musicians playing in his band.
Fontana on drums.
Yes, everything. Scotty, the whole bit, and these guys were legit. These guys, and another homework assignment as a music fan, forget Elvis. Watch Elvis Aloha from Hawaii and just watch the band. Just listen to the band and you'll go, dude, and realize one of the sweet inspirations, because he had a group of women that were his backup singers and a group of men, right?
Imperials, right?
Yeah, well, the sweet inspiration.
Yes.
The women. And one of the women is Whitney Houston's aunt. Is it aunt or mom? Mom. It's Whitney Houston's mom is one of the backup singers for Elvis back in the day. Yeah. And so, no, a lot of history with Elvis, man.
Well, real quick here. There's a great story that Led Zeppelin tells. Have you seen that one on David Letterman? Yeah, so they talk about how they got invited to an Elvis concert through one of Elvis's people. It turns out Elvis had heard of him. And so they play a song and the band messes up and Elvis says, hey, come on, guys, let's get it right, man. We got Led Zeppelin right up there.
No kidding.
Yes, and they tell a killer story. And then there's another one on YouTube where Robert Plant talks about how when they were at that show, he invited them backstage, and they were just singing songs back to each other.
No kidding.
Yes, it's really good. Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, Elvis actually listening to Led Zeppelin? Yeah. That's amazing. But then again, I mean, like going to California, what a beautiful song that is, or the Rain song. I mean, I don't care who you are. When you hear the Rain song, and you know that all Jimmy Page had was a 6-string, right? He wrote it on the 6-string, recorded on the 12-string. But the bottom line is, when you hear that, he's like, okay, why am I not able to get that sound out of my guitar? Yeah. And you go, oh, that's right, I'm not Jimmy Page. And so Elvis, in the documentary I'm talking about on Netflix, the Beatles go visit Elvis at his house in Bel Air. They're in L.A. And they just sat there. And the Beatles were so nervous, they didn't know what to say, so they weren't saying anything. So Elvis goes, well, we're not going to talk. Let's at least watch TV. So he turns on the TV. And so Priscilla's telling the story. Or no, I take that back. One of his boys is telling the story. He says later on, John Lennon, as they're leaving the house, John Lennon goes to one of the guys, that was buds with Elvis. He says, can you do me a favor and tell Elvis? He says, you see these sideburns right here? And this is John Lennon talking. He says, you see these sideburns right here? He says, they wanted to kick me out of school because I had these sideburns. And it was because of Elvis I wanted these sideburns. He says, there are no Beatles if there's no Elvis. Will you please tell him that? And the guy's like, yeah, man, I'll let him know, that type of thing. So, the Beatles, wherever you put them on your pantheon of rock and roll Mount Rushmore, realize even the Beatles acknowledge, no Elvis, no us. It's one of those deals, Yeah,
to go down that road, you got to go past him.
Yeah. So, it's Elvis, Little Richard, B.B. King, Buddy Holly, and the Everly Brothers. And through that, you get the Beatles. Mm-hmm. It's a weird thing,
Yeah.
All right. Now, okay, this one is fun. You got another Circus magazine. I'm going to say this is also 1977. Okay. And of all things, hey, it's the Fonz. It's Arthur Fonzarelli on this. It's Henry Winkler, out of character. But this is back when, this guy, if he burped, everybody wanted to know about it, because he was the Fonz. Now, I'm of the age that, yes, I had a Fonzie lunchbox that I took to school, because everybody wanted to be Fonzie. Hey, right? I can't tell you how many lockers I went to in high school where I tried to hit it and hoped that it would open so I could be Fonzie.
and said Correctamundo.
And Correctamundo, yeah, exactly. Well, even Tarantino, right? What does Samuel L. Jackson say when he, in the restaurant when the holdups happen? He goes Correctamundo. A lot of people don't realize that's Fonzie that he's talking, right? So let's talk about, so this one, what's on this circus issue? And you can find this at your memorabilia that you do on the second Saturday of every month?
Saturdays, and this Saturday coming up.
Saturday, okay. So on this particular issue, which is from September 15th, 1977, of course, we have an article about Henry Winkler, but we also have an article about the pill. Is it safe for teenagers? Let's see here. Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek. Star Trek was, back in 77, Star Trek was having a huge comeback from the TV, because I remember that's when I started really catching on. And this is like, what, 11 years after it left the air, on television with Star Trek. And so yeah, everything was all they were showing rerun after rerun of the original Star Trek. Trouble with Tribbles, that type of stuff. There's an article here about jogging. Let's see here. Guitar Watson. Wow, Johnny Guitar Watson. Are you serious? Okay. Let's see. Johnny Winter, Black Oak, Arkansas. Average white band. Foghat. What is it? What next but Foghat Live, the Great Boogie Band. And then a punk rock special. All right, where they're talking about, get a load of this. Let's see who they think is punk rock. Okay. Television, Erasers, Sex Pistols, DMZ, Stranglers, Ramones, Talking Heads,
legit.
Mink DeVille, awesome. The Damned and the Dead Boys. Wow, that's a legitimate article.
Yeah,
and of course, it cannot be an issue of Circus Magazine in 1977 without a Star Wars poster. Oh man, what a classic! And then, dude, I can't believe you brought this. Any Boy.
The Beautiful.
Any Boy. Now, I was a Cub Scout. Let's go 1970, 74, 75. And this pic, there was, how, you remember when you were in school and they would, once a month, you get that little thing where you could order books, and then
Scholastic.
Yeah, Scholastic. And you order books, and like a week or two later, the books would show up in your classroom, the teacher would give them, and you'd take them home or whatever. There was this one magazine that they would put out, and it was called Dynamite. And of course, it was called Dynamite because at that time, Good Times was the popular show, and J.J. Walker had a catchphrase called Dynamite, right? So the name of the magazine was Dynamite. And so every month I would order, when the book order time came, I would order the copy of Dynamite. And with back, one of them was Elvis. And Elvis was on the cover, and it was him celebrating his 40th birthday. Of course, he'd be dead 2 years later, right? Because he was only 42 when he passed. But as a little boy, now understand something. I'm 8 years old. What do I know? All I did, though, when I was 8 years old and I got my copy of Dynamite, and this picture was on the cover.
Nice.
And I was just like, okay, I had to have a conversation. As 8 years old, I had to have a talk with my dad and go, Dad, something happened at school today. And he goes, oh, really? What? And I go, yeah. I said, I saw this picture, and I showed him a picture, at which point he grabbed the magazine from my hand, and I go, and something funny happened in my tummy. And he's like, Chella, our boy is straight. That conversation. And because what it was Linda Ronstadt dressed as a Cub Scout.
Whoa.
And I mean, of course, I'm in Troop 395, Den 1, right? Pack 395 is what I'm in. And I'm going, wow, Linda Ronstadt's a Cub Scout just like me. Thing is, though, is that my den mother looks nothing like this. And so, there were many a boys that had this poster on their wall. And it was Linda Ronstadt dressed as a Cub Scout. And there, wow. And this is what, a hit parader from what year?
Just right there.
1978, March of 78. Now, let's see who the articles are on this. You got an article about Aerosmith. Okay. Oh, look. People are now chiming in on Facebook Live now. They want to see that. I'm telling you, man, go to Facebook, go to Pudge Nation, follow that, and then go ahead and look up where you'll see that we're Facebook Live right now. So there's an article about Aerosmith, article about heavy metal. Okay. David Bowie, punk update, Patti Smith, Foreigner, the Rolling Stones, Angel. Angel was like the precursor to Van Halen. They desperately, so bad, they were like of the level of UFO. They had the hair of David Lee Roth, kind of but it just not quite there. They were the Leaf Garrett.
They didn't have really a hit.
No, just give me a hit, right?
They did play the Coliseum, right, a couple times.
Yeah, they came through, And then, and an article about the Ramones. Wow, what a great. And look, I mean, it's like in mint condition, dude.
Oh, yeah, I got tons of those that are like that.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. I just open up a page and
During his Grand Funk, right?
There's people just angry as hell on the with their guitars and so forth.
Is that Mark Farner?
Yeah, is that Mark Farner? Yeah. Mark Farner right there behind me. Unbelievable. And, look, Kiss. Ta-da! Thank you. Oh, that's the Destroyer tour. Yeah, look at that picture. Kiss Army in the back there. Look at that. What a time capsule. What a cheap trick. It's in this great pictures. And there's Linda. There's Linda. God bless her. You seen her now? Senora.
Yes.
Senora.
Yeah,
she's got a documentary coming out that's a really good story. They're doing a biopic about Linda.
Yeah.
And I think Ortega is going to play her. And it's like got her nailed as far as dead ringer and got the blessing of Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah.
But very nice. Now, I see that you brought an album as well.
Yeah.
Which anytime somebody's going to bring an album to my studio, I'm like, yeah, you have my attention. What do you got there?
So what I do is I go to people around like the 50s or like 60s years of age, and like I ask them, hey, do you sell your records, or do you have your like cassette tapes or VHS tapes or posters? So like my main concern is like Corpus Christi like memorabilia and history. So right here I have an album of the famous surf rock group Aloha Dave and the Tourist.
I remember Aloha Dave.
Yeah, and they played a lot of different venues like
Yeah.
Cantina Santa Fe, Cooper's Alley.
Look at that, and it's their album.
Yeah.
Did they record that in Hollywood?
I want to say they did.
Yeah,
Like,
let me see the back cover here. That's what geeks like me do. We read the back covers.
yeah, like the liner notes.
Yeah, let's see here. Produced by Aloha Dave and the Tourist. Recorded and mixed at Arlen Studios. No kidding. Arlen Studios in Austin. Now, Arlen Studios went on to become the Arc Studios, as in the Archangels, as in Austin Rehearsal Complex is what that was. So you had guys like Charlie Sexton, Doyle Bramhall, all those guys just jamming in there. And so, yeah, Arlen Studios. No kidding. Engineered by Debbie McNair. Debbie Johnson. I haven't heard of hers. And forever, I used to do business with her in San Antonio because I was a concert promoter back in the day.
Yeah.
And so she worked with Stone City.
There you go. It's like we have like a lot of like posters that say Stone City.
Yeah, Stone City Attractions. Yeah.
Or I go like to different collections of like people's ticket stubs. Like Stone City presents, or like a lot of like the Corpus shows, the San Antonio shows, like Stone City.
Yeah, it's all Stone City.
Yeah.
And so Debbie Johnson, no kidding. Let's see, mastered in Hollywood, pressed in Phoenix. The jacket was made in Canada. Let's see who they thank. That's also they thank Orangewood Surf Club, Sound Vibrations, Island Surf and Sunwear, Cooper's Alley, Robert Chandler, and Robert McIntyre. With special thanks to Nathan Young and Kelly Miller for their lyrical inspiration, or as we like to say, exes that now they got to sing songs about them for the rest of their life. All right, and that's pretty cool. Look at that, and there they are.
Yeah. So I got this album. I met someone on. So I have a Facebook.
Here's the microphone.
So I have a Facebook group. It's called Corpus Christi Riffs, and I meet people like who like are posting or like want to share stories about the Corpus Christi history, or like concerts, or like pictures. Like I have one of my crown achievements and stuff. I would say is like a person posted 2 pictures from an AC/DC show from the Ritz Theater from like a disposable camera he took, I think, 78.
Wow.
It's with Bon Scott and stuff. It's like super blurry, but you can kind of make out the like the
Okay,
shirt.
The 3 of us need to hang one day.
Yeah, I know.
I'll have you come over to I'll have you come to my house.
Better yet, come Saturday.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm going to be in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right? But here's the deal. I have all of my dad's albums.
Oh, you do?
I have all of my dad's albums. He gave them to me, okay? So I have original prints of Woodstock, concert from Bangladesh, all the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, so think of that whole era, the Doors. I've got original prints, right?
Oh.
Then, of course, we have my career of collecting albums. So like I got original prints of all the Kiss, Van Halen, AC/DC, all of that whole era and all that kind of stuff. And then realized that I've worked for radio stations for 35 years. And whenever radio stations would flip formats, they would take all the albums and throw them in a closet. And then the next format would be put into the studio, right? And so there were times when I went, I would be at a station and it would stop being a rock station or stop being a country station, whatever. I didn't care, but they would make the horrific error of putting all the albums in a closet and then put a sign on the door that would say help yourself. Now, I would show up with a dolly and a Volvo. Okay?
Load that sucker up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I have 5 radio stations worth of albums
Wow.
in my house. So I've got like original prints of Leonard Skinner. And the cool part is some of them are acetates, because they were sent to the stations and so forth.
Yeah.
So between that, right, so I have all of those albums. And then I also like to take pictures. Now, I didn't take pictures here at Coliseum or at the Ritz or here locally or whatever. But I did take, my hobby is to go to concerts, get credentialed in the photo pit, and take pictures. So I've got pictures. The thing I like to do is take pictures of guitarists playing their guitar. And so I zoom in on their hands playing the guitar. So, because that's really the artist making their art is with those hands, those fingers, using their palette, which is a guitar. So in other words, it's an artist making their art with that piece of art. And so I have a whole series of photos, and it's people like Robbie Krieger from The Doors. It's Ace Frehley. Just a whole bunch of guys, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, all these guys that I've photographed over the years, and all you see is the body of their guitar and their hand, playing the music. And but I love to take, my hobby is to go to concerts and stand in a pit and take pictures. One of the fun ones I had was Sammy Hagar. I screwed up. I didn't realize the 3 songs were up, and nobody bothered me, so I stayed in the pit the whole show. So I was the only photographer in the pit, and the stage was the perfect height for me that I was able to rest my elbows on the stage. And so Sammy saw me. And so for several songs, he went and stood over my head and straddled my head, standing over me, and gave me every rock god pose you could think of while the concert was actually happening. So he's performing, and the angle I have is from between his legs looking up at him. And so the guitar is at a unique angle that we as fans would never see, from our seat at a concert, and so I could actually, if I wanted to, would have been awkward, but I could have reached up between his legs and touched the guitar. I could have strummed the guitar. That's how
close you were.
Close I was with him straddling my head.
Wow.
But so I have a whole series of photos of Sammy just standing over me, performing, and so I've got all sorts of stuff like that. People have always told me that I need to, sell prints of that. But I wouldn't even know how to go about doing something like that.
I would say you probably need to like for prosperity, like digitize that, like post online and stuff, take a picture of it. That's my main concern, because we have a lot of huge history of music here in South Texas and also in Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
So my thing is I want to I took actually this music and I made it to a video. I get the audio of it and I made it an album I put on YouTube, so it's public. So anyone knows how to use YouTube. It's probably one of the most easiest format to do.
Right.
So they can find out what track they want to check out. And I put that information.
Right.
And I do different I get online search. They do bootleg tapes, and they digitize them. So one of the best bootlegs I have into the Corpus region is probably when Iggy Pop played here in '83 at the Mars Club.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and
what year was that?
'83. It was the Zombie Birdhouse tour. It wasn't his best tour, but it was the most infamous tour, I would say.
I saw Iggy Pop in '87 at the Texas Stadium up in Dallas. It was MTV. They put together a tour. Now get a load of this lineup. Ready? Okay. We start out with this. Now remember, it's 1987. So that right there tells you where we're at. Okay. Get in your DeLorean. Go back to '87. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to start out with the Smithereens.
Ooh, that's a good underrated band.
That's a nice start
Bed
right
of
there,
Roses,
right? I mean, we're talking, it's 1 in the afternoon, and that's how we're starting at Texas Stadium, the Smithereens. Technically, at that point, you could go home and you call it a day, and you're good, right? But no, we've just started, okay? After the Smithereens, up next, Ziggy Marley. A brand new Ziggy Marley. So this kid is still hungry. And of course, we as fans, we're hungry, anything Marley, because we haven't had anything Marley in who knows how long, right? So Ziggy Marley, he comes out there and kills it right after the Smithereens. Up next, Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop comes out there and destroys, just slays the crowd, right? And by this time, the sun is setting. And we're like, dude, and Iggy Pop is in full blown, I'm going to bend myself in half backwards.
In shape, right?
Yeah, just throw myself all over the place. and be Iggy Pop, right? Now, of course, I'm the only guy going, yes, because I'm just like, woo, right? Okay. So who do you follow Iggy Pop with? Okay. You only got 2 bands left.
Drum roll.
You only got 2 bands left. Up next, touring their debut album, and just 100% consistently always pissed. Guns N' Roses. Appetite for Destruction tour.
Wow.
And of course, Axl throws a fit, tantrum, kicks the monitor off the stage because the mix is horrible up on stage, and storms off the stage, right? About 2/3 into the set. And it was glorious. Because, I mean, it was pure rock and roll, right? And so catching Guns N' Roses on the Appetite for Destruction tour, right, at Texas Stadium. So remember, we've done the Smithereens, Ziggy Marley, Iggy Pop.
A fresh Guns N' Roses.
A brand new Guns N' Roses, right? Drummer still has all his brain cells, but slowly will all be gone, okay? So who do we close with? Okay, it's 87. This is the fall of 87.
Well, it sounds eclectic already, you know.
Yeah.
Smithereens,
Well, and like I said, MTV put this together. It was an MTV tour. So, who's the headliner? Get ready.
Yeah.
In Excess.
Oh, I was gonna say that, but of course they had already been around. So.
Well, no, but the Kick
album, right?
It's the Kick album, which that is In Excess at their peak. Don't roll your eyes, dude. Don't roll your eyes at In Excess.
No, I know.
They're legit.
I know
okay?
like 3 songs.
Yeah,
and
no.
like,
In Excess at that moment could have farted for 30 seconds and sold 8 million copies. All right. And so, I mean, it is Michael Hutchence at his. If I was going to go gay, this was the moment.
And that's probably their best-selling album, right?
Oh yeah, that was out of that
had
whole,
all the hits.
Out of that whole album, maybe 1, maybe 2 songs did not make it on the radio. Everything, New Sensation, Devil Inside, everything is on that album, right? And so, and of course,
Tear Us Apart,
right? And Michael Hutchence is in rare form. He comes out with no shirt and leather pants, full Jim Morrison. You know, in the hot summer of Dallas, Texas. And of course, all the girls are losing their mind. Pudge is losing his mind. And the show was, and they ended the concert, one of the great endings, with the song Don't Change. You know, so the band is still playing, and Hutchence just looks at the crowd and says, good night, in Australian, puts the microphone down on the stage, just very gently on the floor, and just exits stage left. And it was like one of the top 5 coolest exits I've ever seen of a rock god walking off a stage. But that was a day. That was a day, So there you go.
It's an incredible lineup, though.
Oh, yeah, horrific. Now, I wish I had my camera for that one.
Man, that's wild.
All right, so once again, share with the class who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Okay, that's this Saturday at House of Rock, the Rock and Roll Flea Market, and also Sergio Elizondo's Corpus Christi Riffs. It's going to have an exhibit of the old
cool
flyers,
posters, some like the Ritz, the clubs like EJ Zeros, like
Cantina Santa Fe,
Cooper's Alley.
Zeros, huh?
So so I go to like individual people, I interview them, but sometimes they show me like, oh, I have this in my box in my closet, and I was like, what are they? Like sometimes they're Ritz theater posters, but like they're just like in raw paper form because that's how they were displayed. So at the gallery, I make sure to like sleeve them up so this people can like physically hold them or like see them.
And mind you, these flyers, these were back in the day where an individual took time to put their own
hand
little
drawn.
hand drawn. So you'll see a lot of these there. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff there.
Very cool.
Yeah, and
All right. And so you guys there are normally there second Tuesday of every month.
No, second Saturday.
Second Saturday of every month.
Yeah, except being that it's Small Business Day, we're going to have the show there.
A lot of
There
cool
you go.
stuff.
But you're going to be there this Saturday.
2 guests, the photographer, and Sergio's display.
And this is all at the House of Rock.
11 to 4.
I tell you what, Casey Lane, you can't go wrong with Casey.
No.
Yeah, he's been a big help and supporter.
The savior of downtown and rock and roll in Corpus Christi. I'll tell you that right now. All right. Well, hey, man, it's good to see you, fellas. And thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
This Circus magazine. That is too cool. I'm going to have fun looking through this today. That is awesome. All right. And anyway, best of luck. And yeah, I won't be there Saturday, but I'll tell you what, the second Saturday, you doing that in December?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. I'll stop by, man.
Yeah, even before that, we'll trade numbers. We'll meet up somewhere, and you got to see my stuff. Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
And I'll make sure, because like I'll probably just throw the posters in my possession and stuff. Usually I return to the owners, but like I'll make sure to make it a point to so like you can see the very like the detailed, the minute stuff of it.
Okay.
Really cool stuff.
Very cool. All right, their names are Sergio Elizondo and Rafael Davila of the Rock and Roll Flea Market. They have it every second Saturday over at the House of Rock in downtown Corpus Christi, but a special event happening this Saturday from 11 till 4. Am I right?
Correct.
All right, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Correct, Amundo.
So, so go on by, man, and when you go there, you be sure to tell them Pudge sent you. All right, let's take a smoke break, all right? When we come back, Maddie Moo is in the house. We'll talk to her right after this.